You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey, Young and the Restless fans, I have got your weekly spoilers from Monday, May 12th through Friday, May 16th. We're going to see Kyle increasingly frustrated, Nick doing a replay, and Daniel pushing back about something. It's Belinda from Soap Dirt. If you're not following us, click that subscribe button. Let's dive in. Monday, May 12th is season 52, episode 150. So Billy is catching Sally up and telling her that Victor was dissing him about him having to fire Phyllis. And Sally suggests that they just ignore Victor and go ahead and ignore Adam because he's probably neck deep into whatever his dad is doing as well. And Billy says that Victor tried to bribe and kind of pump him for information on Dumas coming for Chancellor and what he has planned. Sally really wants Billy to forget the whole Chancellor vendetta, and he does plan to step out of it and says he's going to basically let Victor and Dumas go at each other. Sally likes that Billy is planning to watch that war from the sidelines rather than being involved. And Sally does want Billy's guarantee that he's going to focus on Abbott-Com, and he gives it to her. Meanwhile, Phyllis is eavesdropping on them as Sally and Billy seal their plans with a passionate kiss. Daniel and Phyllis are chatting at Crimson Lights on Monday. Daniel says he's moving forward. He's processing his grief. He's on a path, but Phyllis wants more. She wants to be involved in it. Then she's talking smack about Sally failing and how Billy's going to come crawling back to beg her to save his butt. And Daniel just thinks she's, being how she is. He doesn't like it. Phyllis still wants to collaborate with Daniel, but he thinks they each need to heal separately before they think about doing something together. But Phyllis keeps on and on. Daniel, of course, thinks she's desperate. He just wants Phyllis to leave him to do his thing and, work through what he needs to. But finally, because she won't stop, Daniel relents and says that if Phyllis has some idea that she thinks would be a good fit for them both, she can come back and talk to him about it. But in the meanwhile, he's just stepping out, doing his thing. Claire thinks she and Kyle need to convince Victor of their love and commitment to each other, but Kyle thinks that is never going to happen. It doesn't matter what they do. He's absolutely right. Victor hates him because he is an Abbott and nothing is going to change that. Kyle thinks that Claire should just give up on it because she and Kyle have literally everybody else's approval. Everybody except for Victor. And he wants to know why this matters so much to her, why she just can't let it go. And Claire tries to explain that she kind of has this reverence for Victor because he's a self-made man. And Kyle reminds her that Victor threatened him personally and them as a couple. And Claire wants to tap the brakes and slow up. Kyle doesn't like that because, again, he thinks nothing is going to change. But Claire has an idea of how they can win over Victor. Kyle is very skeptical. Also, Tessa wants to know why Mariah is avoiding her, why she found her crying in the park, why she is too exhausted to spend time with Arya and just not being herself. Tessa wants to know if it's about Ian. Mariah admits that it is. Tessa is feeling bad because she actually listened to Ian and somehow sympathized with him. And Tessa reassures Mariah that the things that Ian did to other people are not on her. But Mariah feels like she's a broken person and she's needy because of the terrible way she grew up. Tessa is, feeling very sympathetic and suggests they try therapy. She wants Mariah to forgive her for even listening to Ian, but Mariah says she's the one who needs forgiveness, but she won't explain and takes off crying. And Daniel shows up and Tessa is crying on his shoulder on Monday. Then on Tuesday, May 13th, season 52, episode 151 of Young and the Restless, Victor is talking to Phyllis. He is considering an alliance. Victor is feeling very enticed because Phyllis is offering to sell him some information, and it is about one of his rivals. It's clearly about Billy, and Victor wants the info, but Phyllis isn't going to tell him until Victor promises what she wants in payment for the information. And it doesn't sound like it's dollars. She wants something else. Maybe this is down to her wanting a company to run with Daniel. Victor's already been hit up from Audra for a company. Is he just going to promise everybody companies to get what he wants? Maybe. Adam and Chelsea are struggling with some work-life balance. Chelsea doesn't like Adam and Victor going after Billy, and this may cause ripple effects that affect them after work hours and follow them home. You know, Chelsea maybe shouldn't be working with Adam. Damian impresses Lily on Tuesday, and that takes us into Wednesday, May 14th, season 52, episode 152. Victor is lashing out against Billy, so maybe he is going to give Phyllis what she wants. Maybe what she wants is for Victor to talk smack about Billy and Sally, you know, using Newman Media. Obviously, if she just wants to be petty, Victor would be happy to do it because he wanted to do it anyway. And further on with the Victor plotting and the anti-Billy plotting, Phyllis reaches out to Aristotle Dumas, and Phyllis might be trying to bring him onto her side because she's turning on Billy, maybe to warn him that Dumas shouldn't listen to Billy. If the guy is as ruthless as Victor, you never know, Dumas may agree to use her to whatever end. Nate is skeptical about Damian joining the family business, which is what Lily was offering him. Maybe Nate's worrying about risking their brother relationship, something like that. He doesn't have anything against Damian, but he's cautious, you know. Thursday, May 15th, season 52, episode 153. Jack and Diane are worried about Kyle repeating past mistakes. And I think this is down to Claire, you know, trying to prove that Victor can accept them, and his parents may be worried that Kyle will go down a dark path or be hurt again in a war with Victor, who is obviously coming after the Abbotts again. Holden calls Audra's bluff on Thursday, and Claire's working really hard to impress Nikki. And so Claire's big idea for getting Victor to accept her and Kyle is that she wants to throw a party. This writing, I can't even. Anyway. Friday, May 16th, season 52, episode 154. Nick is replaying something. He finds himself revisiting familiar territory. Maybe it is trying to pull Phyllis's butt out of a fire that she has started. Maybe it's something to do with him and Sharon. Meanwhile, Sally is increasingly worried about Billy's need for revenge. On Monday, you know, he was being more chill, but then Victor lashed out at him, and that's going to fire up Billy all over again. And this could be real trouble for Sally and Billy. And that same day, Amanda Sinclair sweeps back into Genoa City. Michelle Morgan returns to Y&R, and Amanda has a new client who is a mystery person. We all probably know who that is, right?
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.